Hello YouTube. So today, well, I have a practical problem I need to solve, and I thought I'll do a video about how you can make functional 3D design on your own. You don't have to download everything from Thingiverse and so on. Even with very minimal knowledge about 3D design, there's a lot you can do on your own, actually. So, and let me just preface this with, I have no formal training in 3D design at all. Actually, I think I'm pretty bad at it, to be honest, but that doesn't mean that I can't get results in a very little time from taking some measurements, going to the computer, designing it, and popping it out on the 3D printer. You know, from start to finish, you can probably do something like this in an hour, really. And you really don't need to know a whole lot. So, I'm not really going to teach you a lot in this video. I'm just going to show you it's very much possible. You shouldn't be afraid of it, because the stuff that I'm going to show you is something you probably already know, but you just need to connect the dots. So, today's project is, I've bought this LED light fixture for setting up here in my, where my lab bench is going to be. And what I want to do is, I want to mount it to one of these cross sections here now. And it comes with these brackets that goes like this. It clips into the fixture, and it's got some holes in it where you can use screws. And I could just make some holes in this thin metal here. It's quite thin, really. So I could easily do that and use some nuts and bolts and attach it that way. But then it would be sitting like this. It would be sitting at a 90-degree angle, and I really want to point the light down at my bench more, and not so much, because half the light will go up towards the ceiling, really. So I really want to mount it at like a 45-degree angle, probably. So we're going to try to do that, and there's basically 3 steps. We need some measurements and some quick sketches on what we're going to do. So that's the first step we're going to do here in a little bit. Then we'll go to the computer and try and design what we have in mind, and then we're going to print a prototype, because we're going to use a fast, or what it's called, rapid prototyping approach here, which means that even though maybe the first 3D model I make is not perfect, I'm just going to print it anyway, because it's much easier when you have the physical thing in your hands. You can take it in here and see, does this fit where I want it, or is there something I need adjusting? Because almost regardless of how much time you spend 3D designing it, there's probably gonna be some little detail that you missed. So here we are. I really just need 2 tools, well, and a piece of pen and paper, but I'm gonna sketch it out afterwards. So we've got a measuring stick. I'm not sure what the actual name is for this in English, but it's just for measuring stuff, centimeters. And then we've got some pair of calipers, which we can use to make more accurate measurements. These are not digital, just good old analog. And now I want to design something with a bracket that kind of snaps onto this. So basically I just need to know what the dimension is of this, and it looks like it's 4.5 centimeters by 1 centimeter roughly. And we'll just double check that that second measurement. Oh, that's the wrong way around. I can't see the scale. We can just lock it in place here, and it says, that can't be right. It must have slipped. Yeah, that's better, and it says 3 millimeters. So I think so. That's the one measurement. That's where we needed to mount to. Then we also needed to fit to this, and we would like it to support this backside here. So, and figure out where the hole is. We could just, well, like, the fastest approach would be just to make a simple setup. Actually, let's go to the whiteboard and finish this off. And just sketch out what we're dealing with here. That's another secret. Just make lots of sketches. So the profile we need to fit onto looks about like this. And we know this is 4.5 centimeters. And this was 1.3 centimeters. And what I want to design is something that fits around this shape. So it'll go, but it needs to have that mounting bracket at a 45-degree angle, so it'll look roughly like this. And then it will have a small clip at each end, and then in the middle here, this is a side view, but when you turn it around, look at it from the other angle, you'll have a hole here for a screw. Now, we could potentially also make tabs like those mounting brackets that went around, it's the other way around, the light fixture, so it actually clipped directly into this rather than using those metal thingies. But I think that'll be for more advanced stuff. I think we'll just keep it simple in the first version here. And then we'll do a prototype, and if we can get it to fit, then we can maybe start playing around with that. So now of course we could start doing the math on how long that should be compared to this to make that square, but we can let the computer do the math for us, or make that triangle 45 degrees. We can also just let the computer do the math for us. So really, this is pretty much all we need for now to make, because we won't actually do that. If we did that, we need some more measurements, but we won't, so we'll just say, well, we need something that fits around that, and we need a 45-degree angle on this. We can just say here should be 45 degrees. Right. So next step is we're going to the computer and make our first model of this. Maybe there'll be many models, maybe the first one will fit reasonably well and we'll be done. We'll see. Okay, so here we are. Now what I'm using is 3D Builder, and that's because it's really easy to get going. For two reasons. First of all, the program itself is pretty easy. You can't do any very advanced stuff, but at the same time that also limits the things you can fuck up. And it's ready. If you're running Windows, it's readily available. In fact, it might very well already be installed on your system without you even knowing it, because it got pushed out together with an update like a year ago or something. And if not, you can simply go to the, I think it's called the Microsoft Store, the built-in app store thingy in Windows. You can go to that and simply download it for free. So yeah, you can very quickly get going. So what I want to do here, I think what we're going to try to do first is we're going to create the basic shape that we want here with just a cube, and then we're going to cut out the stuff we don't need inside of it. So first of all, I think those brackets should be, let's go with 2 centimeters wide. So that we'll have it on, this will be the side view, so we want the top down here. Move scale, and then we can go in here and remove the lock, otherwise it will scale all sides and not just the one dimension that we want here. That was the wrong one. So we'll try that again. Okay, so now it's too high. We'll move it down to be lying flat. And then we need it to be, let's see, that was 1.3 centimeters wide, that bracket. So, and we want it to wrap around on the one side and wrap around on the other side. So we need to add a few millimeters. So let's say we go with 1.6, then we'll have 1.5 millimeters on each side for the actual bracket here. So we'll go 15 millimeters wide. And then tall, we'll do the same thing. It was 1.4, we'll go, 4.5, I mean. So we'll go 48 millimeters. So that's the basic thing we're going to cut out our thingy from. Now we want a triangle. What the hell? Not a pyramid, not this one. So if we look at this, we can see that we have what the hell? Yeah, that's something we don't get a straight triangle with a 90-degree angle. Well, you do, that's at the top, but we need it to be at a totally different angle that it won't lock to, so that's kind of annoying. But let's see if we can maneuver it into place, otherwise there is a little hack we can do. Basically just want to do, yeah, we'll just do like this. That should fit. So that will be our 45-degree angle here. So we'll move this down there. And we just need to scale it. So go to this menu and do the same thing. It's unlocked, 20 millimeters high. Yes. And now the problem is we can't actually just tell it that this side should be that, which is a problem. So what I usually do in a situation like this, where the angle is the wrong side compared to how we're scaling it, what you can do, you can take our triangle here when we go into edit. You saw this is running in Danish, but it should be in the same positions. So we go to the redigere or edit menu. We're gonna cut it, add a 90-degree angle. We'll keep one of them. Well, it doesn't matter which one. We'll do that. I'll try to rotate it into place again. The other way around. 90 degrees. Move you over here. Then we'll say we want you to scale 20. And now we can move it into place. Now we can actually draw or drag the right side of it, or the right orientation compared to what we want to scale here. So we can put that there, and we can scale it again the other way, up there. Let's say 48. This should snap onto there now. So if it's 48 on that angle, then we also want it to be 48 on the other to maintain our 45-degree angle. So that'll be 48. So this is our basic shape now. Oops. Well, if I can stop messing around with it. So now what we want to do is we're gonna cut out the inside here. So basically I'm gonna take this and make it slightly smaller. Basically, we're just gonna scale it in percentage. Could just do it in percentages. Let me think about that. But I can lock it again, so now it maintains the scale on all the axes. And then I'll say we want this to be 45, because then we're keeping the stuff that we wanted. And then I can go back in here and say unlock this, go with this one up. Move this in here, and then if we can just find the right spot roughly there. This might end up being too thin, but let's just try it. If you do like that, so we can do træk fra, which will remove the inside here. So we see, now this is hollow. It looks too thin. It's probably, that looks very thin. So we'll probably need to make it stronger, but we can just make sure it actually fits first, and then we can work with it. So we can go and do the same thing with this and say, well, we want you to scale down to, lock this again there. 45, unlock, pull this up, and then we want to lock you to that side, drop it. Now the thing is, with this we can't quite do the same thing, because we need those tabs down here to hold on. But maybe they don't actually have to wrap around. Maybe it's enough they just go to the side there. Maybe. I'm thinking that might actually be enough. So if we just remove that. Oh yeah, that sometimes happens. That's really annoying. I'm not sure why, but sometimes this keeps like something that's less than you can measure, but it just keeps that side there. We'll clean that up afterwards. But what we could do is do this, and then we can maybe get this back here. Because yeah, that doesn't matter, but really what I just want to do is make something that's if it wraps around like 2 millimeters each side, it'll be 45, 41, let's just go 40. And then move this here, drop it down, so, and make sure it's in the middle there. Yes, so again, remove that. And we've pretty much got our basic shape, except we've got this annoying thingy in the middle that's actually not supposed to be there. Let's see if I can get rid of that. It's the easiest way to do that. If we just do this again, 45. Move you this way, and I'll cut that. I'll cut it down there. That's not good. So this is annoying bug, because I really consider this a bug. It shouldn't leave that there. It really shouldn't. But let's just try sticking this into a slicer, because it just doesn't really matter. So we can go and save this as something, some other stuff that I actually made myself. So LED mounts. Yes, and we can also want to save it as an STL, and also it's gonna do some animation. We don't care, so I'm just gonna go and open this up in Cura instead, and then we'll see how it looks. I forgot one thing, and quite possibly Cura is gonna complain, but we'll see. Cura is loading. So unfortunately, it kept that thingy there, even though it's just a shadow. I'm not sure it's even gonna be there if we slice it. But what I did forget is to actually make this into a solid object. These two are actually separate objects in the STL, which sometimes fucks up the yeah. So we can go into the edit menu, and then there's a combine option, which it should have done now. And now it actually dropped that. Nice. So we can again go and resave this. And reload Cura. Here we go. So now we have our thingy. We can try and prepare it. And it says it'll take 19 minutes to print. So even with me moving the cameras around and stuff, this whole video has taken less than an hour to make, and I could just so you could realistically have this done within an hour. And what you do from here is just it's rapid prototyping. So sorry. So you just iterate. If this doesn't fit completely, you take your measurements, you measure this part and see where did you go wrong. You alter the design, you do a new print, and you just keep repeating until it fits. And because it takes 5 grams of filament. So I haven't actually set up any cost for this filament here because it's running the TPU profile apparently. But I mean, it doesn't matter. It's a few cents really, and it's just more efficient quite often to do it with this approach rather than sitting and fine-tuning the 3D model for hours and hours and hours to make sure it will work in the first time you print it. That's really the advantage of having a 3D printer, because of course if you're producing something industrially, you're injection molding it, you needed to get the mold done and stuff, then it will be very expensive to make that first one. But since we can 3D print it, well, it really doesn't have to be. Now, if I look at this, there's a few things that might need to go into the next version, like this here. I could probably do with some strengthening, so I'm thinking like some sort of crossbeam down here would be good for strength. We might want to have a tab here because it could possibly pop out. The bottom one, it probably doesn't matter, but the top one, you know, like if we went in here and just had a small piece that went in there and grabbed around the thing, that would probably help. Otherwise it could potentially pop out, but it's actually going to sit underneath the shelf that's laying on top of this, so it might be enough to keep it down. So that may or may not be necessary. But really in this first iteration, I'm really just concerned with the fit of the thing. So yeah, I'm gonna try and print this and see if it fits. And then I'm just gonna do this process again if it doesn't, and then eventually I'll have something that works. And the whole point of this video is that you can easily do the same. It really doesn't have to be very hard to do this. It's just, you know, just fiddle around with it, do a test print, see how it fits. That's how you do it. And and we'll just see some of the others found in this folder here. Like I made this that's not really how I wanted to open that. What the hell, Windows? Open with 3D Builder. This is a rack for power banks. I have a lot of the same model of power bank, and they're just laying around, so I thought I'll make a rack where they fit into this and they can stand in it while I'm charging them. So that's one thing I made, and I've got printed 3 of those and they work perfectly. Let's see, what else do I have? I made and that's just something I altered. Made a lamp mount for my mother. It's quite similar to what we just did now. This is a mount for a lamp. She bought 2 used lamps, but it only had 1 mount, so I just had a look at the existing mount and made a copy on the printer, and yeah, it's holding her lamp right now. And that really took me maybe 30 minutes, and so on. So you can do it. I'm really bad at like graphical design and 3D stuff and so on, but I can do it. You know, it's just put your mind to it. That sounded kind of lame, but whatever. I mean, it's not as hard as you might think. That's my point. Now, if you like this video, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more of this 3D printing stuff and old computers and everything. There's a whole bunch of tech related stuff on the channel, so press that subscribe button if you want, if that's your jam. Okay, take care everybody.